Welcome back. After its initial strong support of Israel, the Biden administration is now changing its tune. It wants Israel to come to the table and negotiate a ceasefire, with President Biden calling Israel's military conduct in Gaza over the top. And now the press secretary of the US Department of Defense, Major General Patrick Ryder, has expressed hopes that Hamas will do the right thing for the Palestinian people.
Do you anticipate that Hamas will try to fire on the operation, on the causeway?
Look, I mean, that's certainly a risk. Again, but if if Hamas truly does care about the Palestinian people, then again, one would hope that this international mission to deliver aid to people who need it would be able to happen unhindered.
He hopes a group of bloodthirsty terrorists will do the right thing. He hopes Hamas, who use Palestinian children as human shields, will do the right thing. Joining me now is former strategist to President Trump and host of America First, Dr. Sebastian Gorka. What do you make of Major General Patrick Ryder's comments there?
Well, before I erupt with regards to the Major General, let me just say, Rita, I have been a fan for many years. When I'm preparing for my 3 hours of daily radio or my weekly TV show on Newsmax, I just say, find out what Rita said, and we'll use a clip of hers. God bless you for what you do, especially when it comes to the senile old git in the White House. On my radio show today, I just unleashed against this man. That's a 2-star general who hopes that terrorists won't shoot at U.S. troops and sailors when we build this la-la land, crazy idea of a pier on sovereign Israeli territory to bring aid to the Gazans. I mean, seriously, if we were back in the White House, President Trump would tell the Secretary of Defense, walk downstairs and rip those 2 stars off that cretin and that imbecile, because to say, we hope the bad guys won't shoot at us is beyond anything a second lieutenant should say.
Well, this is the case. Hamas won't do the right thing by the Palestinian people, let alone US servicemen and women. I mean, the whole notion is so divorced from reality, but it's not just the Pentagon spokesman who has high hopes for Hamas. Here is Dr. Bonnie Jenkins, the Undersecretary of State for Arms Control and International Security Affairs, expressing how much she'd love to see a Palestinian state, despite having absolutely no idea who would lead it. Have a listen to this.
You're here representing support for a Palestinian state, correct?
Yes.
Have you analyzed that support objectively?
Yes.
Who would you assess would lead that Palestinian state? You could name a group, but I'm saying Hamas, Palestinian Authority, Fatah, some other group. Who would lead it?
I think that has to be something that's considered, but I think I would have to have a little. I don't feel comfortable saying that without.
Have you not assessed what group would lead it? Have you or have you not assessed who would become the leader of that Palestinian state?
This is part of a larger discussion.
Don't even say who it is. Just answer, have you assessed it? Have you assessed who would lead it?
Put it this way, there will be an assessment of this question within the U.S. government.
I don't know where to start. What do you say to that? How are these people so unprepared and frankly clueless about what they're advocating for?
That woman fell off the top of the stupid tree and hit every branch on the way down. I wouldn't trust that woman to make me a cup of coffee or to walk my dogs. I mean, this is the perverse situation we find ourselves here in America. The greatest nation on God's green earth, the greatest military anyone has ever seen. And we're run by people who hate the nation, who are arrogant, who are ideologues, but are also dense, are really stupid. That person is in a position of authority. It's like the National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, this pencil-necked dweeb who was given noogies in high school. And he's the National Security Advisor who just before October the 11th writes this 4,000-word article in America in Foreign Affairs saying, oh, no, the Middle East hasn't been this peaceful for 40 years. And then we have the greatest slaughter of innocents since the end of the Holocaust, since the end of the Shoah. And guess what? I'm sure you know this, Rita. Foreign Affairs, left-wing, rag, allowed the National Security Advisor to go back into the website and delete the passage where he said, everything's great and Biden stabilized the Middle East. It's like George Orwell, you're memory holing the truth about what Biden has created in the Middle East. It's Ukraine, it's Middle East, it's disasters in Afghanistan. That's because these people are cretins and they're also arrogant.
Well, this is something that President Trump never got the credit he deserved. His dealings across the board, when you look at whether we're talking about North and South Korea, the Middle East, China, the Russian-Ukraine issue, when he was in the White House, all those areas were in much better shape than they are now. The Biden White House's foreign affairs disasters are too many to mention here, starting with the botched Afghanistan withdrawal, which, again, there was really no accountability for that, was there?
Not only was there no accountability, the Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, who recently just disappeared for 3 weeks and didn't tell anybody that he's going into hospital, on the floor of the Congress, when asked about the disastrous surrender of Afghanistan, the 13 servicemen and women who were murdered by ISIS at Kabul airport the day we left, he said, quote, I have no regrets about how we left Afghanistan. Can we just compare that to our time in the White House? When President Trump, my boss, was in the Oval Office for 4 years, Rita, we had no new wars. China was in its box. Putin was in his box. Proudest moment in my career was when we walked into the Oval, me and Steve Bannon, and we told the president, this is why the Iran deal, Obama's JCPOA, has to be killed now. And we did that in front of the whole cabinet. And the president said, thank you, gentlemen. I am going to pull the plug on Obama's Iran deal. 4 years of peace. And then what happens? Along comes what my buddy Dan Bongino calls the rotting bag of oatmeal in the White House. And we have disasters in Afghanistan. We have invasion of Ukraine for the second time, because the first time was under Obama. Let's not forget Crimea. And then we have the October 7th massacre in the Middle East. Can we just get President Trump back for not just the American people, but for the safety and stability of the world? I like it when we don't have wars in multiple regions of the world. I'll vote for that.